She's a bit dramatic. You
Actually.
do you. Yeah.
Listen, guys, this bit is about being unapologetically you, okay?
Hello!
Get heart-centered.
Everybody has a story. Like, it's a choice.
Ladies, how them bits?
Good morning, my bad biddies. I still said morning. It might be evening. It might be afternoon.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are. Welcome to the Lady Bits Uncovered podcast. We are in episode 8, which is crazy. 8 episodes in, and today we have a special guest that we're going to interview and ask questions and just pick the brain of Molly Woodhull. She is a corporate mindfulness consultant.
What does that mean?
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
I don't know. We're gonna. She's amazing. I actually met her, had breakfast with her, and I was just telling the ladies just how easy it was to sit and talk to her, and it felt like we knew each other our entire lives, and just super easy and seamless. And I can't wait for you to hear from her. And at the end, she actually runs a business called Woodhull Wellness. Am I saying your last name right?
Yeah,
I feel like I
Woodhull.
have to go whole.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Woodhull
Honestly, I didn't know how to
Wellness.
pronounce my
I'm just
name
gonna call you Molly
properly.
Bit. Molly Bit it is.
Molly Bit. So we're gonna have her just share a little bit about herself and her business, and at the end we're gonna have her pimp out her business and her one-on-one coaching, workshops, and just all of it.
Pimp out those bits.
Pimp out the bits.
We can make it happen.
So ladies, if you are kind of in that mindset of going, oh, what does my routine look like? What is mindfulness? What is meditation? This all seems very overwhelming, and your bits start to shut down. We're here to open, enlighten, and brighten the space because we have someone here who is an expert.
Yes.
So this is an educational episode. We are here just to bring you some information, but we can't even get that going until we understand who Molly is and where she came from. And so Molly, we are so stoked to have you here.
So pumped.
I am really grateful to be here. I'm excited.
Well,
Open
welcome.
those bits.
Yeah, welcome to the Lady Bits. And
you.
you know, once you're part of our tribe, there's no escaping. So
And you actually have to get tattooed.
Oh yeah, sorry, we forgot
By
to
the
mention.
way-
That's,
Let's wait a little on that one, but I'm not
Cost of
leaving you
admission.
alone because I'm obsessed with you all, so it's fine.
So let's backtrack, Molly. Let's go back to your beginning. Can you please just paint a picture of who you are and how the heck did mindfulness and meditation fall into your lap?
Totally. It was a journey for sure, but let's see. I'm from Ohio. I grew up in really the middle of nowhere. We had a family farm. My grandma was like really wildernessy, and so we spent a lot of time exploring nature. I am the only girl, and I'm the middle child, so I have 2 brothers. So there was a lot of sort of outdoor exploration going on.
Fights?
Fights,
Eating?
definitely. Oh my God. Definitely a tomboy, that is for sure.
Same.
So from there, my brothers went to this camp and they explored the wilderness, and I was totally jealous. So then I got to go up to Canada each summer and partake in these whitewater canoe trips, and it was an amazing experience for me. Sort of being immersed in the middle of nowhere, just canoeing all day, doing the same thing, you know, your blade in the water as you canoe, was extremely grounding for me. And for many years, I didn't realize that, you know, at the age of 10, when I first started doing that, it was really very much a meditation. And so from there, that impacted my life dramatically. I decided to go away to college, and I went to the University of Denver to continue exploring the wilderness. Being out in the mountains was something that I felt was really important for me. And then after college, I went on to work in wilderness therapy. So I utilized outdoor immersion as sort of a tool for healing. And in that job, I utilized my own mindfulness practice with my clients often, but I hadn't had any sort of formal coaching. And then from there, I moved on. I got my yoga teacher training, adding more to my sort of dynamic understanding of mindfulness and meditation and how it can be utilized in my everyday life. And then I got sort of into spinal cord injury recovery, and, you know, utilized mindfulness there too. But really, I had this thread, you know, between all the careers that I had had, utilizing mindfulness and compassion-based meditation with all of my clients and with myself. So then I got into this program at Stanford called their Compassion Cultivation Program, which brought tons of new science and research to these really old ideas of meditation. And I was jazzed, like honestly so stoked on this idea of like bringing all this really cool research to something I already believed in, right? But not everybody believes in that. And there are some people that need a stat or a figure in order to like believe in these ideas of mindfulness.
Interesting. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For someone that doesn't know what mindfulness or meditation is, if they can't, differentiate between the two of them, could you define each of those?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know the difference. So
I don't think I know the difference.
yeah, it's okay.
I'm like, do I?
Right. It's hard to know. And like, it's a buzzword, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But why is it important? So it's a really good question. Mindfulness is really a way of being. It's a way in which we live our lives in the present moment, not really ruminating about the past or fretting about the future, right? To me, this means just being present, being able to focus on the task at hand, whatever that might be. This conversation, sending an email, without being taken away by all the other checklist items that we have.
It's like our blinders that we
Totally.
talk about.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Like, keep your blinders on, stay in your lane,
Focus on what's ahead.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
I love that.
really hard to be mindful because our minds are meant to wander. They have a natural tendency to do so. This is okay, but we have to teach our mind to be more mindful. So in meditation, we choose an anchor. This anchor could be a sensation, a sound, a poem, a workout. And when your mind wanders, and you notice that mind wandering, then you bring your attention back to the anchor. And this is really meditation, noticing our mind's proclivity to wander and then bringing our attention back. It's not to eliminate all thought.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I remember sitting at breakfast and saying, like hearing all about your meditation. And I don't know how many times I said, oh yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that. That's not for me. I am that person that if I sit down, I feel like meditation, just like sitting in the quiet and all of those things. And so I've never been that person that sits and meditates. So my question for you would be, who needs this? Like, who is this for?
Sure.
Who's your target for
Yeah.
this?
So that kind of brings me to two answers. One, everybody. I think everybody can utilize a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of meditation. I mean, the idea of being able to better understand your mind and how it wanders and then build that mindfulness muscle and be able to really focus on the task at hand, everybody can use that. The way to get there is to train your brain, right? But there are also a lot of ways to meditate. There are many ways to incorporate mindfulness and meditation. And you don't have to sit down cross-legged like, like you can do, there are many different ways to incorporate. And I feel like you personally meditate through your workouts.
Done.
Right.
You guys, I meditate.
I love that you
We
just
can-
said that.
That makes me so happy.
We can bring a little bit more intention
Yeah.
towards our breath and maybe try and really bring a section of meditation
Yeah.
into your workout. But I feel like that's your time
Yeah.
to like,
That's insanely accurate.
yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
So where do ladies start? So I have been the person that sits cross-legged, oming, going, I think I got it. Am I here?
Yeah.
Am I connected? And then I don't feel anything.
Sure.
Take me back a couple steps. I'm a beginner. I've listened to this podcast and I think, geez, I'm really stressed. I need to take it from a 10 to a 1. How do I begin? What are my tips and tricks and little tiny bits that I can kind
Yeah.
of put together?
Sure. I think it's really hard to be accountable to ourselves when we're just like, I need to meditate again. Like, I also need to eat a lot of vegetables and I need to sleep well and I need to do all these things. So I feel like meeting you where you are is really important. If you really want to sit down and meditate for 10 minutes a day, download an app. Maybe talk to somebody, have an accountability partner. find a Sangha. A Sangha is a group of meditators. There are many meditation studios all around you. Or go to a yoga class and maybe go to one that incorporates 10 minutes of meditation at the end or at the beginning.
What am I doing with my head?
Yeah.
What is my mind doing? So I go into the yoga class, I've looked around, I've now looked at everyone's Lululemon pants, and I've put my mat out. How do I then get into the Zen space, and what exactly should I be focusing on?
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to sit down and be like, oh my gosh, like look at her butt. And then you're sitting there all morning and you're like, oh my god, I gotta go home and do laundry. And holy shit, the kids are crazy. Like,
And I can hear the ceiling fan, and I can hear the car alarm outside, and all this stuff, and it's just madness in my head. Blitzkrieg. What do I do?
Totally. I get that. That's why I feel like, honestly, I'm a really good resource, because there are a ton of ways to start. Like for you, for somebody who needs a heavier anchor and you really want to meditate, maybe you do a gatha, which is a meditation poem, and you recite this meditation poem in conjunction with your breath. Or maybe it means lying down on the ground and really feeling your breath. So like breath is the basis of all meditation. So maybe you put a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, and you just feel that like natural rhythm of your breath moving up and down as you breathe.
I love that.
So I want to ask you, I feel like, who are your teachers? Who taught you these things? Like, who do you look to? Like you just mentioned, reaching out and listening. And if you guys are listening to this podcast, you're taking that first step. You're putting yourself out there. So who do you listen to or look to for that light?
Yeah. I've had a lot of different teachers, honestly. Some people are like, oh, this is my one teacher. I have had many. I think my first teacher was probably this woman named Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Kathy girl, yes. Seriously, Kathy's a goddess. She is all about sort of mindfulness and awareness and just being present in the moment, and that's where I first started. And then, when I went to Stanford, that program was, developed in conjunction with the Dalai Lama, which was really cool, and so I learned a bit from him. And then,
It's a pretty good mentor to have.
Yeah.
and then, here in Denver, the Mayu Sanctuary is a place where I teach meditation. It's one of the oldest meditation studios in Denver, and a lot of the teachers that I've met there have been a really great community for me, like learning from each other. And some of the teachers that I even teach in partnership with, like a great friend of mine, Elizabeth, and sort of the owner of Mayu, Sierra, like we are sort of each other's community. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you talked a little bit about different apps and tools that people can use. What are your favorite resources that you would suggest to somebody wanting to start?
So some of my favorite resources would probably be, I really love the book 10% Happier. It's from Dan Harris. I feel like for those of you who are that don't totally buy into this, it is
for the doubter bits.
Yes, for the doubter bits. It is such a good resource because Dan Harris is a TV anchor. He didn't believe in any of it, sort of had this sort of life-changing experience of slowly incorporating meditation into his life. That's a really cool resource and book. Aside from that, there are people like John Kabat-Zinn who, are sort of some of the founders of mainstream mindfulness. But also apps like Calm's really good. You have to pay for it. Insight Timer is honestly my favorite. Insight Timer. It's free. It has a million different resources. You can do compassion-based meditation, also called meta meditations. You can do mindfulness meditations, breath-focused meditations, chakra meditations. I mean, it's literally...
I'm writing this down as well.
Yeah, it's an endless resource.
I love it.
And I think what we're gonna do, ladies, if you're listening and you're, oh my God, what did she say? 10%? What is the book? Everything will be in our show notes. So we will really make sure that we showcase all the things you just said, the apps, the books. They'll all be in our show notes.
Actually, no, there's not. If you're not listening, you don't get all that.
There'll be links links for her bits. You can get in touch with her
Links
bits.
to the bits.
But you know, before we move on, we want you to pimp your bits because Molly, you have like poured into us. Linzy's taking notes next to me. So, you know, where do we find you? How can we connect?
Yeah.
How can anybody who's listening reach you? Maybe look into your coaching. Could you pimp your bits and also maybe just expand a bit on what you would do with someone one-on-one?
Yes.
Open those bits. Mom.
Love it. I'm gonna open it up. So you can definitely contact me on my Instagram, Woodhull Wellness. Slide into those DMs. That is literally the first time I've ever said that.
Yeah. How did it feel? Felt good, right?
It honestly felt
Slide.
way more natural
Yeah.
than I was
Yeah.
expecting. Slide in to my DMs. I'll be there. You can also look at my website, woodhullwellness.com. Shoot me an email. I think, even my work phone is there, so you can give me a call.
Love it. You are about to get all kinds of.
I was just gonna say, wow, no one can
Yeah.
call me. My phone number is nowhere. I hate the phone.
It's actually 50436. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
867.
Maybe I'll regret it, but I'm a resource for you, so I'm trying to be open.
I love it.
So I sign up, I contact you,
Yeah.
I sign up for a one-on-one.
Right.
Give us the Coles notes. What am I going to get when I get Molly?
Yeah, so we'll talk on the phone, do a little debrief. I want to hear where you are in your life, what you struggle with, what your goals are, and what your everyday life looks like. And then what we'll do is really curate a program for you. So we'll meet, maybe once a week or once a month, depending on how much time you want to give to this. And then each week we'll talk a little bit about the science behind the practice. And then we'll teach you a new meditation. We'll practice together. I'll lead it. And then, from there, I'll let you go. You'll practice that meditation that week. And we'll come back, debrief, learn something new.
Love that.
I really want to develop a toolkit of meditation techniques for you. So you can grab these different resources when you need them. Maybe a micro meditation is what you need. I'm really into these. One deep breath is like, it changes your mental and emotional status. It brings oxygen into your brain, physiologically changes your state of mind.
Can we all do that right now?
Yeah, we should.
Can we do
Can the
one?
listeners do
Can you
it as
quickly
well,
just talk
please?
us through? Can you
Because
just,
I could listen to your voice all day.
I'm not kidding. I have like chills just saying, okay, we're gonna do this.
Okay, can you give
Okay,
can
so
you
we'll
give
do a
us,
little meditation.
Can you
Okay.
give us a mini one?
Yeah.
And guys, if you're listening, I want you to join too.
That's
Just
why I asked, guys.
walk through. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so when we meditate, even if it's a micro meditation, you just want to find a comfortable seat. So wherever you are, you could be on the ground, you could be lying, on your bed, and then just feel your body against whatever surface, you're sitting or lying against. And then take one deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. Feeling a sort of calm, your body relaxing into the space. And then we'll just take one more breath. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And then maybe wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Damn.
And then just feel how your body is a lot more relaxed. Maybe it feels heavy, or maybe you kind of feel a lightness and like an openness in your mind.
Me too.
Yeah.
You guys, I think it's time for a bit of tea.
A spot of tea. Molly, this is awesome. And would you
Thank you
thank
for
you
that.
first of all. We are beyond
you.
appreciative. But would you mind staying just for a couple more minutes to do a question from our listeners?
Yes.
We call this bit
A
for
bit of tea.
the bit of tea.
A bit of tea.
I would love a bit of tea.
I'm so happy. So today's bit of tea is a question from J Monroe. J_Monroe. What's up? How are you doing? Okay. The question is, how do you learn to love yourself? And I think this is a very good question for Mom.
Phew.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay, this is a wonderful question. So thank you for asking. And I think a lot of people have this question. So learning to love yourself is definitely a journey. It's not a one-way street. And I think it's something that we work on every day. I work on this every day. So I think I started this journey with loving kindness meditation. And in this meditation, it's a practice where I provide love and kindness both to myself and to those around me. And so as I sit on my mat, I really recite the words, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering, may I know peace and joy. And reciting these things to ourselves can be really meaningful. To like really feel into this, self-compassion and self-love.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, it really comes down to, like we've said on almost every episode, that it's a choice.
100% a choice. It's a choice you make every single day, and I think having maybe a mantra or something that feels good to you, like when I start to hear myself, so it's two things. One, awareness, right? So I'm trying to be aware of the fact that I might have negative talk.
Yeah.
And when I hear that, I try and do my best to think, that doesn't feel so good. And then, hey, Mal, like, what's the loving choice here? And for me, like, I ask myself, what is the loving choice? That is when I wake up in the morning and I try to look at my Insta, like, right away, and then I think, maybe not. That's not the loving choice.
Things like that set the tone for your entire day, I think.
Oh my God. I could talk about this for a very long time, but
Yeah.
in short, that sets the tone of your day from a physiological and like hormonal perspective, and also just from like an emotional.
I love
And I
that.
love that you check in, like, hey, Mom. I mean, Lord knows I talk to myself all the time. Like, hey, Linz, what's up?
Yes.
What's going on? You're crazy. What's happening? I love that
Yes.
you talked to yourself in a loving voice. Hey, Mom. Not coming down on yourself, not shaming yourself, not, like you said, watching your mind going and shaming yourself for it, but saying, okay. it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. And you should definitely check out Pema Chodron. She's a goddess and has a lot of books on
We'll
mindfulness.
spell that out.
Yeah, we'll spell that out.
Yeah, I love it. Jay, be on the lookout for a email from Lady Bits for your bit of swag,
Your
your
swag.
swaggy Lady Bits, and we're gonna get you the hookup. So thank you
Thank you, Molly.
very much, Molly,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
This was so wonderful.
I
This was so
appreciate
fun.
it. No,
I appreciate it.
I'm like, okay, afterwards, okay, like help me, please teach
I
me.
know, taking
Okay,
notes.
we're signing out.
I hope that everybody got something out of this episode. If you have questions, again, please message us. We are a family, we are a community. We want to get connected, we want to help everybody, and we want you to help yourself, and that's the most important. So, ladies, take care of them bits.
Be mindful.
Be mindful of those bits.
It was good.
Hey, Lady Bits, thanks again for tuning in and listening to our podcast. The way this community really grows and supports one another is simply by word of mouth. We would really appreciate it if you could head over and rate and review our podcast on iTunes, then go check out our social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and go like, share, comment, and subscribe to all of it. This community is really to support women, educate women, and also just to help you find your voice. So until next time, take care of the bits you've got.